Hello guys. So this is another part of our Saturday morning chats about business building and taking small steps towards big success. So 2 weeks ago we talked, and I'm making this weekly. We did the last one 2 weeks ago. But 2 weeks ago our talk was about seeing yourself as valuable. And that was a big breakthrough for me, and I know it is for a lot of people, not just women, but we spend so much of our time feeling less than, feeling inadequate, feeling like we're not enough, feeling like we need to be doing more, right? And so last time we talked about feeling like you're enough, knowing that you're enough, embracing that you're enough. Okay, so if you need that video, I'll get a link for you and I'll put it on the Going Silver group. But today we're going to talk a little bit more about taking that awareness that you are enough and becoming and using it to put together, let's say, a complete package. One of the things that became really clear for me as I was homeschooling my children was the need to know where I was going. What was my end goal as a homeschooling mom? For a long time, the goal was to have an educated kid. Kind of the same kind of goal that we get out of our brick and mortar school kids, which is okay. It is okay. But in the course of that, I was trying to do things the way that I would do if I were in school. So we sat down every day, we had books and assignments every day. Didn't matter that it was a beautiful day outside, didn't matter that we could have flexibility if we needed it. It didn't matter if he hated it. We were gonna slog through it, didn't matter. And I know that not all of you are homeschoolers, and I know that this isn't going to connect with all of you in the way that it connects with me, but it hit a point where we were out somewhere and it was kind of fun, and we were doing like a nature hike kind of thing, and I said, oh, we got to take pictures because this can go in your homeschool portfolio. And my child was probably about 7 at the time, and he looked at me and he said, this is fun, Mom. This can't go in my homeschool portfolio. And I thought to myself then, I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing it wrong. And not too long after that, I saw a blog post that talked about what are your end goals when you're homeschooling. And I decided then that my end goals were that my child would know how to read, would know how to my children would know how to teach themselves for their level and style of learning, whether they're tactile learners, whether they're readers, whether they have to listen to something, whatever, that they would know for themselves how that works for them, and that they would still be curious enough to ask the questions. And so because I was able to clarify those end goals, everything that I've done with my homeschooling efforts from that point forward has been filtered through that lens of how does it contribute to those 3 end goals. So we need to do something similar for our business efforts. And so when we talk about what is your why, we talk about what's your purpose in building and why are you doing this, what we're really saying is, as someone who is building a business with Young Living, why are you doing this? What is the end goal for you? And sometimes it's hard, as I mentioned before, I've talked about this, it's hard to see what that end goal is. Sometimes it's hard to see past the immediate need of, I have 3 cars that all need brakes fixed, and one of my cars just had the clutch go out, and another one of my cars has a problem with the muffler. It's hard to see those things. Can you imagine that, or can you tell that car issues are part of my life right now? Those things are all true. My husband's truck needed 2 different repairs last week. My van needed brakes yesterday. I'm going in to get a second part of the brakes fixed today. it's life, and life is going to hit us that way. But sometimes those little things get in the way, so we need to brain dump those, which we've talked about, and then we can start to solidify what our purpose is in building. And I've been reading the ULA for Women book. If you haven't read it, it's actually really good. I'll give my transition with ULA later. But I've been reading it because someone gifted it to me, and it was a really great gift that a number of my leaders are going to start getting from here forward, because it challenges women in particular in a certain way. And then there is also the original ULA book, which I'm sure speaks more to men or a general audience, right? So one of the things that has me kind of captured by the ULA book is figuring out my purpose. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? Where am I going with this? And so in thinking about that, in removing myself some from social media, from my screen, doing things with my kids day to day, working with them. Can you put her out back, please? I have really contemplated why I'm doing what I'm doing. Why am I here talking to you all, some of who are on my team, many of whom are not, and what's the purpose? Please put her out back.
Okay.
Thank you. And so, in considering my purpose, I've looked at a few things. First, when I was in high school, and from all the way forward through high school, part of my purpose in life has been joy. I need to get joy out of what I'm doing, and a dollar bill can't be enough. I have to be willing to walk away in pursuit of the next of something different for my life, because if it's not bringing you joy, you're really not in the right place. You're not doing what you're designed to do, what you are called to do, what you were put here to do. Okay? So finding joy is a big part of it. I also recognize that I am someone who needs to help others. I'm a very yellow personality, and teamwork, community, connecting with people is really important for me. Very important for me. And so, so that has to be part of my building effort and my purpose. I love talking to people and getting on here with you guys and hearing your success stories and what's working for you, and seeing you as you rise up, and seeing my friends as they achieve debt freedom, as they get freedom in their health, as they start to see freedom in their time to be with their families. Those are all things that bring joy, and those are all things that are community-based, and those things are all things that I can encourage people in and help them map out their goals to achieve. And so that's part of my purpose. So in looking to, shall we say, brand me, I have decided that my purpose is to empower people with whatever their talents, their skills, and their goals are, and to help them come up with a step-by-step plan to achieve those goals, and to encourage them in finding their own goals like we're talking about doing here. And so, so as I look at the things that I'm doing and at the things that I have done up to now, I can now look at my plans, my roadmap in building, and I can filter it through that end goal of helping people become joyful in their lives and empowered in where they're going next, in what their building efforts are. And so here is what this video, what I hope you get out of this video today. It's that as you are going through and thinking about your next steps for your business, what can I do to grow? What can I do to get new people on board? What can I do? How can I get people to my classes? How can I get people to connect with me? How can I get people to talk to me and to share their goals with me? As you're thinking about those things, Filter it through what your end goals are. What is your purpose in building? What is your roadmap? Because if you are staying true to your roadmap and to your purpose, then the people that also connect with that roadmap and who can be motivated by and moved by and touched by your purpose are the ones who are going to feel your enthusiasm when you're out and about and you're talking to people and you are working to get people invited to those classes. And then you get them invited to the classes, and if you're following the roadmap of that you've put together for your business, and if you're following the lens and the filter of your purpose, they're going to connect with you in your classes. They're going to see your enthusiasm. They're going to hear your genuine desire to live a certain focused life, and they're going to connect to that. And that's going to be a big deal. So when we hear the bigger builders, both within Young Living and outside of Young Living in the larger network marketing world, one of the things you hear over and over and over again is that, oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. One of the things that we hear though is to live a life of purpose and to connect with people on that level. And so, and that people are going to connect with you. This is my train of thought. That people are going to connect with who you are before they connect with your company, before they connect with your product, and before they see where your product can help in their lives. They're going to look at you first. And so if you have that drive, if you have that focus, if you have that purpose, it's going to speak to them, and they're going to feel that connection, and they're going to be more likely to follow you and return to you and remember you when they are ready for those next steps in joining and making a better life for themselves, and in coming to a company like Young Living for essential oils and for getting toxins out. So as you're going through your day, today, tomorrow, whatever, think about what your roadmap is. What's your end goal? What's your Disneyland? And how are you going to get there? What stops are you going to take along the way? There's so much more that I can say on this, but I don't want to take all day about it. I know shorter videos do better. And so if you want to talk more about this, if you have questions, you want to brainstorm some stuff, because that's one of the other things that I am, is a brainstormer. I love to throw ideas out there and see what happens. And that's part of being able to help others do the same. So if you are would like to talk more, and if you're interested in that, let me know. In the meantime, I hope this has been helpful for you today as we move forward in Baby Steps for Builders, and that it helps you define your purpose, your meaning, and your why as you build in your efforts for Young Living and for your business and life. Talk to you later.